Hi, welcome. This is the first Juice Shop session of the 2020 Open Security Summit training sessions period. So I'm very excited to have here Bjoern, and who's basically the creator of Juice Shop. And I just want to give you a quick welcome, run through a little bit of the rules, and then I'll pass it to him. So what you expect here is to learn a lot. This is a 10-day experience. We're trying to facilitate the collaboration between the developers and the professionals and the key players. And it's all about having practitioner-led sessions and trying to find kind of solutions, right? Or at least learn stuff that you can then apply in the real world. What we expect from you is to participate. Feel free to ask questions. This is all interactive. We want you to learn as much as we can. We know you care deeply about application security and what we do, but what we also ask you is to have mutual respect and be very objective, have this sort of objective distance on how you think about things and how you interact, because, we want you to challenge directly, but, it's all about having a great environment here. So a key element of the summit is the openness. So everything we do here is recorded. We might live stream a couple, and then we will basically eventually, put everything on YouTube so you guys can access it. And, if you don't want to be identified, just don't put your video on or use NA as your name. And everything we create at the summit is open source and released under Creative Commons. And this is kind of very important because we want to really promote the sharing of ideas and sharing of materials and even the creation of new materials that can then be used by the community. Respect is super important, so we please ask you to be very professional, respect everybody. No one wants to be discriminated here. So, we do take this very seriously. So if you see anything that you feel we should do something about it, please report it to one of the organizers and we'll take care of it. Finally, just share your views, tweets, promote this. You can still, invite a lot of your friends and colleagues. Basically the summit, we made it to the point where, if you can pay, it's fine. If you can, that's okay. And, we just go to the summit, and choose one of the options that are free, so you can join in, and or your friends can join in. And also we got the Slack, that you can basically go there and participate in the community and ask questions, and most of us are there. And finally, learn, right? You're here to learn, you're here to, improve your knowledge and to share and to teach others. And that's kind of what we're trying to do in this first section of the summit, which is the sort of the training session. And then, we have the main summit, which is kind of happening from the 15th to the 19th of June. And that's where we really want a lot more collaborative sessions, where we want to really try to solve and work on some hard problems. So over to you, Bjoern. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you. And I will start sharing. Let's see. Tell me when you can see my screen, please.
We can.
You can. Awesome. Great. Then welcome everyone to the introduction, first of two introduction sessions to the OWASP Juice Shop project. My name is Bjoern Kimminich. I'm from Hamburg in Germany and currently in home office, obviously. Even our mascot, Juicy Bot, has a face mask on for safety reasons and medical reasons. So this will be a very basic introduction into what the Juice Shop project is and what you can do with it. And yeah, that's basically it. The more, let's say, sophisticated sessions on specific topics will happen in the real summit week. And yeah, I will basically mention what topics we will cover there and not spoiler too much here in the introduction. So let's begin. So first of all, for those who might not know what is OWASP, that is an acronym for Open Web Application Security Project. It's a non-profit organization that is claiming to be basically the front runners when it comes to software security and securing software development and applications in general. It's not only web applications any longer, it's also a lot about mobile applications. OWASP has a lot of interesting projects going on, from documentation projects to code projects to tool projects. Everything is there. And the Juice Shop is one of the actual tool projects in OWASP. So why is this project called Juice Shop? And I always show this slide for all beginners who don't know the pun behind it yet. So if you translate the word dump or useless outfit, so a shop with a very, very bad shopping experience, or some restaurant with a very bad experience, if you translate that into German, you get the word Saftladen. And that is put together from Saft, which is juice, and Laden, which is shop. And that's why the project name is Juice Shop, because the Juice Shop is actually a really, really bad application when it comes to security. It doesn't give you such a bad shopping experience, but we will see that in a live demo in a moment. So Juice Shop is actually written in JavaScript, but that was not the main reason why I called it that. And the logo that you saw on the front slide and also here behind me, that came after the name basically. So that wasn't planned, just a lucky coincidence. Okay, here are some customer testimonials. I didn't make those up, so all these links are pointing to the original tweets where someone actually wrote this about the Juice Shop. Some of them I ripped a little bit out of context maybe, but never mind, that's what customer testimonials are for, right? So it's the most trustworthy online shop out there. The best juice shop on the whole internet, actually the most bug-free, vulnerable application in existence. It first makes you cry from laughter twice and then just cry from sadness. And the wife of one of its users actually was really confused about the juice shop and said that it doesn't have anything to do with juice. Why is it called Juice Shop? So that's our customer testimonials. And now for a quick live demo. If you want to use the Juice Shop yourself and not install it, you can use the demo instance that we have on Heroku. I will just quickly open that, but I will use my local running instance so nobody can interfere with it. So if you go to demo.owasp-juice.shop, that's basically where you find the live instance that everybody can use to play around a little bit. But I will instead now go to my localhost installation. That's how the Juice Shop looks like when you start it for the very first time. So it tells you nice hello. It tells you a little bit what it is. You can get some help getting started, but we don't want that right now. We just want to play around with it a little bit like a normal shopper would, right? So someone wants to buy some juice, and that's what we now actually want to do. So let's get rid of this. Oh, let's get rid of this cookie banner. So I want cookies. Okay, so what can we do with the Juice Shop? You can see there's lots of different products here. Even more if you scroll through it, from juices to Juice Shop specific merchandise to all kinds of things. Oh, this looks nice, raspberry juice. Just as an example, you can click on any product and it will give you a little bit more information. Some products even have, like this temporary tattoo, have even some reviews from happy customers, right? So MC Safe Search was very, very happy with these tattoos, it would seem. So what else can you do? Let's click on the menu here. It seems you can leave some customer feedback if you want. Have to solve a sophisticated CAPTCHA to actually do that, so I won't. I don't want to embarrass myself with math issues here. Okay, and it seems I was already logged in once, so let's make sure that I'm logged out right now. I can still leave customer feedback, so that's an anonymous feature, obviously. Let's see what else. We have an About Us page that gives us some interesting information about the history of the Juice Shop corporation. It also shows some really happy customer support people and some customer feedback here and the usual social media links. Okay, so what you would expect, I guess. We have a photo wall. It seems that customers can upload their photos with Juice Shop products. Oh, there's one that's broken actually, but well, never mind. And GitHub link, okay. So, well, I guess what else can we do? I suppose we can search for stuff like you would expect. Great, that works. And you can switch the language. So, and the Juice Shop actually supports a lot of languages already. And the little thermometer symbol here shows how much of the application is actually already translated. But we wanted to shop a little bit, right? So let's go back to the main page and let's log in. So now we could, if we never used the Juice Shop before, we could of course register a new user. For the sake of time consumption, I will just use the demo user. So there's a user demo, which everybody can use. You can also use that on the public Heroku instance if you want. And I will log in. And it seems I'm now logged in as the demo user, and there's a lot of menu items that I now get, which I can take a look at. But what I really want to do is just buy some juice, right? So actually, I think I will just go with some apple juice, because why not? I want some more apple juice. Oh, it seems I can only order up to five liters of apple juice at a time. Well, never mind. I will also go with a fancy fruit press, and maybe some of these. Damn, there are no face masks anymore. Unfortunately, they are sold out. Okay, never mind. But then I will still get some tattoos. Okay. So let's go to the shopping basket and see here. So maybe I can try to get some more apple juice. No, doesn't work. Okay, so but I can get some more tattoos, of course. Okay, I guess that's enough. Juice Shop is really good with rounding, as it seems. Well, that's a JavaScript feature, but well, never mind. So let's check out. I have to select my address where this delivery goes to. I can pick the delivery speed. So standard delivery is fine for me right now. And of course, I have to pay as well. Whoa. Okay, so let's take a look. I can add a credit card. I have already one here registered for the demo user. That's good. I can use an in-store digital wallet, and I would even have sufficient fund to pay with that. That's even better. Ooh, I can add a coupon code. Let's try and save some money, shall we? So let's take a look here on Twitter. Let's take a look and search for coupon. And here, right, the first tweet, it's almost as if I have prepared something for this occasion here. So exclusive for all participants. It's actually only for the participants of the deep dive sessions in the summit week. But if the Juice Shop marketing team was silly enough to post the code publicly on Twitter, then why shouldn't we use it, right? So let's see if we can save 60% of our whole purchase here. And it says we can. So I will then pay with my credit card, continue, review my order, looks good. I even get some bonus points, whatever those are good for. Place my order. And I'm done. So thank you for your purchase. That's it. I can track my order now. I could also download a printable confirmation, or I can tweet about my order, because why wouldn't you reveal what you just bought in a random shop publicly? Let's go to the track orders page. And as I would expect with the standard delivery, in 5 days, it says it should be actually in my at home. So yeah, other than some administrative functions like, okay, I can now look up my order history or my addresses. I could change my password. If I'm really security aware, I could even set up two-factor authentication, stuff like this. So but that's basically the functionality, the basic functionality of the Juice Shop. So that worked, right? I mean, that looked like it's a properly written e-commerce application, no big bugs or anything. So looked fine, I guess. Well, the Juice Shop actually is not something you should use as a template for your own web applications, particularly not a web shop that you want to put online somewhere, because it's full of security issues. So the Juice Shop has tons of vulnerabilities of different categories, as you can see here listed, right? So there's everything that you find on the OWASP top 10 from the last, I think starting from 2010 or something. So it contains almost everything from the OWASP API top 10. It has many additional, more sophisticated attacks that you don't find in these kinds of awareness documents. So in total, the Juice Shop has 95 hacking challenges that you can actually solve, or that you can try to solve, and then learn about security that way. So that's the basic idea of the Juice Shop. But the interesting thing might be that while I was just using the Juice Shop like a normal user, it didn't really show any crazy behavior that would indicate that this would be such a broken application, right? So the challenges in the Juice Shop are separated into or grouped into 6 difficulty levels. From 1 is easiest and 6 is crazy hard. So there's lots of stuff to do for everybody. When you use the Juice Shop, it actually keeps track of your progress of the challenges you already solved successfully on a scoreboard. And on the scoreboard, you also find the information on how to approach each of these challenges, and you find some links with hints and everything. And I will show this in a minute how that actually looks like when I present one of the newer features of the Juice Shop. When you solve a challenge, you get immediate feedback by the Juice Shop. So it actually shows you a little pop-up message telling you what challenge you just successfully solved. One of the biggest convenience features of the recent past is that you can shift-click any of the close buttons of these notifications, and they will all be closed. When you shut down your Juice Shop server, or maybe it crashes because you did some really heavy DDoS attack or something, the Juice Shop actually stores your progress in a cookie and is able to restore it after you restart your server. So as long as you don't clear your cookies and you're not hacking the Juice Shop in incognito mode, after every restart, the Juice Shop should be able to recover your already solved challenges. For those who are new to application security or hacking in general, the Juice Shop has a nice feature called Hacking Instructor, which is that some of the, in most cases, easier challenges come with a tutorial script that basically guides you through the whole challenge, and it helps you actually solve it. So that's a really nice feature. And the latest addition to this, let's call it newbie friendliness of the Juice Shop, is the so-called tutorial mode, where you when you're not overwhelmed with a list of 95 exercises to solve all in one, but you're basically you're given only some exercises, and then you gradually, as you gradually solve those, the scoreboard will be unlocked and show you more challenges. And I will just really quickly show you how that looks like. To do that, I have to restart the Juice Shop in tutorial mode. So that typically doesn't take long, so it's just a few seconds. While starting, JuShop always validates if everything looks okay. So if everything that is expected is there, if the port is available and all that stuff. So now everything should be good. So let's see. So now this looks similar to what we saw before, right? The difference is there's no dismiss button in the welcome banner, and I cannot click anywhere right now. So this is a modal dialog blocking me, and I have to click on the help getting started button now. And when I do, the little friendly assistant pops up here and tells me what I'm supposed to do. It wants me to find the scoreboard. And it will keep showing me new things that I can try, or gives me some hints of what I should actually do. So this is all just basic information for now. And it tells me that I could go for URL guessing, or I could try to find some useful information in the client-side JavaScript code. Okay, you find the JavaScript code in the dev tools on your browser that will open with F12. Well, okay, so let's open those with F12. Look through the client-side JavaScript in the sources tab for clues, or just start URL guessing. It's up to you. Okay, so if I'm more the investigative type, so let's go to the sources tab here. And as you can see, the little this little overlay here is now just sitting there, and it's basically waiting for me to actually find the right URL of the scoreboard, right? So either by investigation or by just try and error. So if I look at the source code here, let's see. Ooh, that's a lot of JavaScript stuff, right? Good. So let's look for something like score. 32 hits. Okay, let's go through it. So maybe there's some hint about some URL, because it must be reachable somewhere, right? Oh, this looks good, right? Hacking instructor, scoreboard, component. So this looks like a path. Okay, let's see if score-board is the actual URL. And my browser history tells you that it is. So let's visit that one. You can see now the notification popping up, and the little hacking instructor congratulates me that I solved this challenge. So now I can close this, and this challenge is now solved. And as you can see, the scoreboard here is very, very limited, right? So I cannot show any higher difficulty challenges right now, and it tells me in the overlay, in the hint on the tooltip, that I have to complete all the level 1 challenges with tutorials first to actually be able to get to level 2, right? And as you can see here, there are in total 4 challenges that have tutorial scripts in difficulty 1. And if I solve all these, which we will not do right now, then the JuShop would unlock the level 2 challenges with tutorials, which is, I think there are 3 right now, and then the same for level 3. And then when you solved all the tutorialized challenges, you will basically get the entire full scoreboard unlocked. And I will just cheat right now and just start the JuShop again with the normal configuration. And if you look closely, you should now notice in a second that my scoreboard challenge notification triggers again, and the JuShop tells me that it just restarted and restored my progress, right? So if I now refresh the scoreboard screen here, this is basically the non-tutorial mode scoreboard. By default, it only shows you the first level difficulties, but you can just turn on everything. That takes a moment because it's a lot to render. And now you have all the 95 challenges here with description of what you're supposed to do. If you hover over these unsolved labels, you get some hint. And if you click on those, you would even be sent to an online help, which will guide you further through the whole thing. So it should be pretty beginner friendly. Good. So that was the challenges in the JuShop. in a nutshell. What else can you do with the juice shop? You can use it in capture the flag events. So if you start the juice shop in a different configuration for CTFs, your notifications will contain this nice little flag code here. And what you could do, you could set up a score server somewhere centrally, and the participants in the CTF can paste in these flag codes to the score server to actually claim some exercises or challenges as being solved centrally, and then getting points for those. Now, the thing is, if you want to do something like this in a proper way, then the score server needs to know the same flag codes that the juice shop is showing you, right? And it would have to be the same for every participant in this whole setup, because the juice shop is not meant to be used by multiple people on one instance, but everyone is supposed to use their own personal instance. And what these instances need to do, they need to share the same flag, the same CTF key when being started. So basically being initialized in the same way, so that the hashes generated for the flags are the same. And the server needs to do the same. To simplify that process, there's a lovely extension project for CTFs, and that allows you to basically generate a data dump for either CTFD or the Facebook CTF server or root the box, which you can then easily import on that server, and you will basically get the entire juice shop list of challenges in your CTF server in a couple of minutes, right? With the right mapping for the flag codes for solving them, with proper points for scoring. So the 6-star challenges give you more points than the 5, 3, 4, and so on. And you can also even decide if you want to allow hints on the score server, right? So if you want free text hints, or maybe you have to pay for them with some of your points to actually see the hints. In order for that to make sense, you would then, of course, turn off the hints in the juice shop itself, right? So you don't get the hints directly on the scoreboard in the juice shop. You would only get those hints in the score server, and you might have to pay for those. So you can run this capture the flag export tool basically either via interactive command line interface, or you just provide a configuration file that has to look like this to tell it what to do, right? And it's really, really simple to achieve. So here are some screenshots from different CTF games. So this is Root the Box, for example. This is the Facebook CTF server with a really nice user interface, and CTFD is, in my opinion, still the easiest one to set up, and also the most, I mean, personally, I've used it the most of the times, and it was always very reliable and stable. So that's a really good open source project as well. So they are all open source, by the way. Okay. So spoilering a little bit the session that will come after this one, the MultiJuicer platform. So if you, as I said, the juice shop is meant to be used by one person normally. Because if you think about it, if, like, for example, a whole classroom of 30 students would use the same juice shop instance, then the first student to solve a hacking challenge will just solve it for everybody, right? So nobody else will ever see any notification when they successfully solve a challenge. To avoid that, it's the best way to do is to have every single user on the same, have their own instance, right? And MultiJuicer is there to help you set this up really, really quickly. So in the end, you have a central Kubernetes cluster of juice shop instances with a custom load balancer in front. And the load balancer ensures that everyone on the same team or individual always gets back to the same juice shop instance that they have started, right? And it's also cleaning them up afterwards, and it's really, really nice. It also gives you a like a passcode to get back to your instance so that nobody from team 42 can just hijack the instance of the Empire, for example. So, and there will be a MultiJuicer introduction session, as I said, after this one. So if you're interested in hosting Juice Shop in larger setups than just for yourself, that's really interesting to join. What else can you do? You can rebrand the Juice Shop. You can basically customize it completely to your personal needs. I will just quickly show you how that looks like, but not dive any deeper into how that's done, because that is actually part of the deep dive theming session on June 15th in the main summit week, right? So, but I will just quickly show you how this looks like. So if I start the Juice Shop with a different configuration, let's see, let's use this one. So there we go. Let's go back to the Juice Shop, to the home page and refresh. And now you can see that the Juice Shop has changed quite a bit, right? So the name is different, the logo is different, even the fav icon is different. The products are different, and the Juice Shop is now basically looks like it would belong to 7 Minute Security, which is one of my favorite security podcasts, actually, made by Brian Johnson, as who you can see here, recording one of his famous songs. Yeah, so this is basically everything still works, right? I mean, the Juice Shop works just like it did before, but it even changes the small subtle things like, for example, the Twitter links and the Slack link is different. You can even have different photo wall entries. So it seems this one is always there, but the other ones with the Juice Shop product photos is now not here anymore. So it's very easy to set something like this up if you are familiar with the configuration YAML file. So just to give you a brief hint on how that looks like. So in the end, it's a YAML file where you have the entire configuration of the Juice Shop inside. And you can override almost everything that you want. And this is what we will dive deeper into in the theming session. You can even declare your whole inventory of products completely from scratch, including reviews and everything that you want. One other special mode in Juice Shop is the quiet mode, which can be quite useful for awareness trainings, for example. So if you want to show to managers how the Juice Shop actually, or what security issues exist in the world in web applications, you maybe don't want to distract them with these green pop-ups or with any strange links to GitHub projects and stuff like that, right? So you can basically reduce the noise that the Juice Shop is making when you're hacking by using the quiet mode. Okay, so the opposite of quiet mode is a very nice XSS awareness demo that we have. You can watch it on YouTube, but you can also run it yourself. And to do that, typically the story is, hey, maybe someone of you gets a phishing email that might look like this, right? So very professionally crafted phishing email with a link which urges you to actually click on it. I will try to launch that now, and I have shared my audio from my computer, so it should actually work. To be able to do that, I need to start the Juice Shop together with this demo. That is some other containers that are needed to actually provide this full experience. So let's start that one, and then when it's up and running, I should be able to click on the link here. and make sure that your speakers are on full power. And I hope that you could actually hear that. But even if not, then it's also visually very pleasing, right? What's happening here. So the entire juice shop is dancing and making loud noises. So, well, as a normal user, I might now be a little bit confused or even scared, but in the end, I probably won't mind much and just continue doing what I always do, right? I just continue to use my juice shop application here. So let's log in, demo, and let's search for some stuff like OWASP, right? Or maybe maybe I want to, no, I don't want to search for apples. I want to search for orange, okay, and so on. So I just use the application normally, and it will just work like this, right? There's nothing damaged in the application. Now the trick here is that the attacker in this phishing link, they didn't only hide this music and dancing animation stuff, but they also sneaked in a little keylogger onto your system, basically. So if we take a look here, so just imagine that this localhost instance on a different port, right? Juice shop is on 3000. This is 8080. This would, in worst case scenario, actually be somewhere a domain completely outside of your reach, right? So something from some bad actors. And as you can see here, it seems to transmit everything that I'm typing, apple, orange, and so on. So, and if you look really closely, then you will, every 5 seconds, you will see that this page automatically refreshes. So when I start typing here again, raspberry, and I go back, then at least maximum 5 seconds later, it will send this, whatever I typed here, right? So this is a nice awareness demo for cross-site scripting, and the worst case, I would say one of the worst case scenarios that can happen if you have a cross-site scripting vulnerability, and problems with your origin policy and everything. So if you mess it up completely, then this is what you might get from a cross-site scripting attack in a phishing email. Okay, so that was that. What is behind all this? The juice shop is an Angular 9 application at the moment. We always try to keep it as current as possible. Uses material design in the front end. The back end is a Node.js server using the popular Express framework. We have a very, very lightweight database architecture, so to say. So we use a SQLite, file-based SQLite database that is connected to via SQLize from the server, so very lightweight. And also our MongoDB implementation in JavaScript, that is MassDB. That's actually, I guess, not so commonly used project, maybe for good reasons, because it might contain some security issues. Even that is in memory here completely. So that's the interesting thing, is that you can run the juice shop in just a single Docker container with everything, the databases and all that stuff. And it's not, there's no Docker compose or anything complex involved, unless you want to show something like this shake logger demo that we just saw. JuiceShop is really simple to install. So you can put it on your cloud providers. You can host it locally just in Node.js, or you can use, for example, Vagrant files or whatever what you like. So it typically runs everywhere. And if one option doesn't work for you, then maybe just try a different one. I think so far everybody found at least one of these options that work for them. JuiceShop is, as I already mentioned, translated quite nicely. There's a total of over 30 languages now that the JuiceShop is being translated to. We use Crowdin as our translation provider, so it's very simple to just participate in these translations. So if you're interested, feel free to pick a language that you know and help us translate the project into even more languages. So if you would like me to add a new language, then just send me a message and I will happily do so. Just recently I added here the Thailand flag actually, so for the Thai language. So that was the front-end translation. Even the backend is translated. So everything in the database is also translatable. I can just briefly show you how that looks like, but there we don't have so many different languages yet. So if I just go back to the main page here and just for fun switch to, let's switch to Chinese, then you can see that the buttons and everything are translated immediately. But for the backend things, I need to refresh, and then you can now see that all the products, except the ones which were very recently added, are now also translated into Chinese. And the same goes for error messages and basically everything that's in the backend. Even the challenges on the scoreboard are translated in Chinese and German at least. So if you want to help us with another language in the backend, that would be really appreciated, because at the moment we only have English, German, and Chinese at a reasonable translation rate in the backend. Okay, JuiceShop is, I mean, it's a broken, vulnerable application, but it's not written in a completely unprofessional way, I would say. So we are using a lot of test automation for unit testing, API testing, end-to-end testing, so that I don't have to go crazy like this guy at the top of the test pyramid when it comes to a release, right? So if all the tests are passing, that usually means that all challenges still work, because our end-to-end tests actually hack the JuiceShop in all possible ways and solve 100% of the scoreboard. So if that still works, then I'm typically very confident that everything should be fine and in release ready state. Okay, we also do some DevOpsy stuff, right? So of course, the project itself is heavily using Angular CLI and NPM scripts and everything. We also have some grunt in for fun. Our build server is Travis CI, which is really nice because it allows you to build on different operating systems and even processor architectures, which is really handy because we can create zip or tar archives with basically prepared packages that you can just download, unpack, and then just run without having to install everything yourself. Docker, of course, is there. Heroku is where our demo instances run, and it's also very easy to deploy your own Heroku instance with the JuiceShop. We use some Code Climate, for example, and Snyk and GitLab for some security checks. And just recently, we added a GitHub action that once per week scans the JuiceShop with an OWASP ZAP baseline scan. And GitHub just recently added code scanning for open source projects, which also reveals a lot of security issues. And the fun thing is, sometimes the issues found are not the ones that we actually built in on purpose, right? So we already had the situation that some tools found some vulnerability, and we were able to, in the past, to build a hacking challenge around that. So, and sometimes tools find really bad stuff that we don't even want in the juice shop, so we actually fix it.
Mic off.
Sorry.
Mic on.
So we're also pretty heavily investing into integration. Or being able to integrate with the juice shop. This is actually part of the second deep dive session in the main summit week. So the deep dive integration session, if you want to learn more on how to do monitoring with Prometheus and Grafana, for example, or if you want to learn how to configure the juice shop to to call a webhook whenever someone solves a challenge, so that maybe your corporate learning management system can get notified when someone is making progress in your central juice shop training instances or something. If you want to do stuff like this, and that's interesting for you, feel free to join the juice shop deep dive on integration. Okay, so I would like to close just with a quick round of FAQs. I'm not even sure that these questions have ever been asked, but this is what I would actually come up with if I were a beginner in the tool. So first question, can I use my pen testing toys on the juice shop? Yes, of course you can. So you don't have to do manual testing just with the browser. You can use whatever you want. You can use your OWASP Zap. You can use any commercial tool that that your company bought. Whatever. There's basically no limits, right? Don't expect those tools to solve too many challenges for you. They might actually find some vulnerabilities that will then allow you to easier solve a hacking challenge, or they might assist you a little bit or quite a bit, for example, with challenges that are about automation or brute forcing, but don't expect any miracles, because most tools have a really hard time to understand how this whole several thousand lines of JavaScript in the browser actually work. So, should you do a white box pen test? So should you look at the source code of the juice shop itself? No, of course you shouldn't, because the code contains trigger events to actually realize when a hacking challenge has been solved, right? And if you read how those challenges are checked, then of course you basically know the solution for a challenge, but you might not even have understood the actual problem behind that. So that's cheating. If you look at the source code of the juice shop main project itself, that is considered cheating. You can otherwise look through the entire internet. There are even some of the hacking challenges which need you to do some research on the internet. Obviously, if you come across some good hacking videos or online tutorials or blog posts about juice shop challenges, and you read those, then yeah, of course, that's also considered cheating. But other than that, everything is allowed. If you're not able to install the juice shop, please make sure that you actually follow the README instructions. In most cases, it's some problem with your Node.js setup, especially on Linux. That is something that not works out of the box too easily. So we have setup instructions on every possible way to run the juice shop. We have a troubleshooting section that you can look for help in, and if that doesn't work, then you can just ask a question in our community chat, preferably here on our GitHub chat, right? So if you use that, that would be great. Please don't open issues, and the text here is still misleading, so I have to remove that from the slide. So GitHub issues are not for support tickets, please. If you crash the server one way or the other, or just shut it down, then, as I mentioned already, the juice shop resets not only your progress of your hacking challenges, but it will clean wipe the entire database. So if you, for example, manage to break something really horrible with SQL injection, or you overwrote some files which are desperately needed, typically everything is back to normal after a restart of the server. If you're stuck with a challenge and the hints on the scoreboard don't help, as I said, you can click on the link after every challenge listed on the scoreboard, and that will bring you to the online version of the Juice Shop companion guide, where you can find more hints, and you can even find complete solutions for all the challenges, which will guide you through the whole challenge step by step. That is also available for free. You can get it from, you can just read it online. That's one way, or you can also get it from Leanpub for free if you want. If you found a vulnerability that is not in the list of challenges, please let us know, because there's two options. Either we have a really big problem that we need to fix, or that's something that might actually become a new challenge. If you use the Juice Shop on Heroku or in Docker, for example, you might notice that some of the challenges are disabled. That's because they are actually dangerous. And I don't want to be responsible if you expose your Heroku infrastructure to some evil hackers because someone was able to do an arbitrary file write on your Heroku instance through the Juice Shop, right? So that's why by default on containerized and cloud-hosted instances like Heroku, some challenges are typically turned off. You can turn them back on with an unsafe mode, but then the risk is completely yours. The risk is always completely yours because the project is MIT licensed, so I'm not liable if you break anything with the Juice Shop, but just so that you cannot shoot yourself into the foot too easily, some of these really dangerous challenges are by default turned off, but only in cloud and containerized setups. If you want to contribute to the Juice Shop, please check our GitHub issue list. There are two labels which are particularly interesting. Good first issue is typically what we mark easier issues with, like bug fixes or small changes. And help wanted might be some more difficult specialized topic where we actually need some help. For example, everything around JWT is typically where I am giving up quite quickly, and I'm always setting the help wanted label. You can also contribute to the Juice Shop by providing translations on Crowdin, which is really easy to use. And yeah, that's also very much appreciated. It's so much appreciated that on your first contribution on GitHub, so for your first merge pull request, I will typically send you some stickers and some postcards and stuff. Please note that at the moment there's a little backlog of these deliveries due to the ongoing Corona pandemic. So I'm not running to the post office every day now. So I try to avoid stuff like that. So you might have to wait a little bit until the stickers come, but they will come if you provide me with your address where to send those to after your pull request was merged. Last but not least, my personal favorite slide, the Juice Shop success pyramid. So the Juice Shop has, in the latest version, a total of 66 contributors. It's an OWASP flagship project. It even has a gold medal from the Core Infrastructure Initiative Best Practices list, which is typically given to projects which are relevant for the continued existence and well-being of the internet or something like this. I think that was kind of their slogan. And I'm happy that the Juice Shop is considered such a thing. We're not so bad with code coverage and maintainability index, it seems. The project is downloaded quite heavily. So these downloads are from GitHub, and that's only the zip files that we attach to every release. We copy those over to SourceForge as well. So that's 47,000 already. It doesn't count we don't count the cloning from the GitHub main repo actually. And we have a crazy number of 4.1 million Docker pulls actually from the Docker image in total. So the roadmap for the future. First and foremost, of course, the dedicated track at this year's Lockdown Edition Summit. We currently have an ongoing Summer of Code, Google Summer of Code project, which will add a friendly chat bot. So something more to pop up here at the bottom of the screen probably, and asking you if it can help you. And you will be able to talk to it, and it will be smart and learn from your questions and all kinds of stuff. And it will also contain a lot of Easter eggs, I hope. And because that was just recently released, our new webhook mechanism for the challenge notifications needs to get some battle testing and maybe some refinements. So that's still in a testing stage or minimum viable product quality, I would say. And yeah, so I'm happy for everybody who's interested in such a thing to join the integration deep dive session, where we can talk about and play around with that a little bit and yeah, see what maybe we can make out of this. So when is all this done? Of course, as always, when it's done. And I think with continued over the years, less and less people will actually get the reference from Duke Nukem Forever. So maybe I have to find a new meme for that at some point. Okay, if you want additional information, the best place to go is the official website of the Juice Shop. It's a third-party URL, but it will just send you to the official OWASP.org page of the Juice Shop, and there you can find everything that I just talked about and more. So all the links to where to get the source, get the project from, to the demos, these slides, the book, chat, Slack channel, blah, blah, blah. Everything is there. We also have merchandise, obviously. It gives you an overview of the features, lists all the challenges by categories. It tells you a little bit also about the tutorials which exist, and so on and so on. The news site is also quite nice because it gives you the latest releases and a pretty overview or concise overview. And in the ecosystem header, I totally recommend to listen also to the official jingle. I don't want to spend almost 3 minutes right now during the session, but I can only recommend everybody to just click on this and enjoy almost 3 minutes of Juice Shop marketing music. Good. So that's basically all I have for the introduction. And I can stop screen sharing now. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. And if you don't, that's also fine. Then you can just, I hope you will, at least some of you will join the MultiJuicer session following right now and the deep dives in the main summit week, actually.
I think there are some questions, right, on the chat.
I'm just looking at the chat, but yeah, so in the group chat, I don't see any questions actually.
Well, I think the first one is, will the meeting recording be shared with us? Yes, we'll put them on our YouTube channel, and we'll be also on the web page for this session. And also, Hey Summit also shows it. And then the question that you got: what is the best way to update your current version of Juice Shop?
For personal testing, there's a question in the chat. If for personal testing, it's a good idea. If it's a good idea to run it in a VM,
yeah.
Of course you can do that. If you have Node.js locally installed already, then you can also just run it locally there. If you want to run it in a virtual environment, I would basically just use the Docker image, I suppose. I mean, it's not that dangerous that you actually need to contain it in its own VM. But you can, of course, if you want. And basically, that's what the Vagrant script is also doing.
Cool. What about that answer of the best way to update the version?
Sorry, say again?
What's the best way to update the current version?
To update to the current version, if you're using Docker, that's probably the easiest, because then you just pull the latest image and then you have the newest version. But even if you're running it locally, you only have to update from GitHub. So you basically have to do a git pull and then run npm install to install all the new dependencies. And after that, it should just work out of the box. Okay, I see one question. Can all the challenges be completed in any browser? For example, some XSS payload would not work on either Firefox or in Chrome. So right now, the XSS challenge payloads are designed in a way that they do work. And I always test it in Chrome, and that usually works. Firefox should also be fine. So there's not really a restriction. In some rare cases, if you do some cross-site scripting attack that doesn't trigger on the browser side, it might still give you the challenge solved success notification because the Jew shop thinks you did it successfully because it sees the payload on the server. Yeah, but that's basically the worst thing that could happen. But I've never seen that actually, unless you use some really, really nasty plugins in your browser, maybe. Okay, so if that's all the questions you have, then I hope we will see you again in a little bit less than an hour for the MultiJuicer session.
Cool. Right. So let me just stop the recording. Oh, wait, one more question. Can you brief more about CSP modes?
Interested in what a juice shop plugin would look like?
Oh, there was one before that. Can you see that one?
Yeah, I can see.
Can you brief more about CSP modes?
What do you mean by CSP mode? I mean, Juice Shop has a completely messed up content security policy. Yes, that's part of the idea of being broken, but there's no CSP mode or anything.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I don't know what you mean with the questions about the plugin. So what do you mean by Juice Shop plugin? So there is no plugin concept in the Juice Shop right now, and there's also no browser plugin for the Juice Shop actually. So I don't know what you actually mean. Ah, okay. So it wasn't.
I thought it would be kind of cool to have some sort of plugin to use. Like there was an Amazon plugin, for instance, that ended up being malicious, where it's supposed to direct you to a certain part of the site and make it so I guess you're using. I don't know exactly how all it functions as far as that goes, but like it has certain settings that you can mess with Amazon, and it's just a little plugin, but it would be interesting to see how an insecure one would function.
But you mean a browser plugin?
Yeah, like a browser plugin, but connected with Juice Shop.
Okay, so that would be cool actually to have a plugin that seems to be useful for shopping at Juice Shop, but actually also contains some issues. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not sure if that's easy to actually get right in a way that it survives in the plugin stores, right? but so it cannot be so insecure that it actually compromises anybody's system. Yeah, but that would be a nice idea. That's true. Yeah. So okay. So the different modes of the juice shop. So maybe let me just quickly show the documentation. Then you can see where you find all that information. So if you go to Bjoern OWASP juice shop, there's a customization tab, and that has some predefined customizations. And these are the ones which are not changing the look and feel actually, but are more like modifying the behavior a bit. So the CTF mode, quiet mode, tutorial mode, and unsafe mode. Those are the ones. And if you click on any of these, it will just send you to the corresponding configuration file. And you can write your own configurations if you want and mix it up if you like. Okay. Any further questions?
Cool. So I'll stop recording.
Okay.